Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fells of Great Britain. Well, today you find me in Snowdonia, not visiting Snowdon as most people do when they go to that particular national park, but just to the northeast I'm visiting a small range of mountains, collectively called the Glyders. They all have impronounceable names. I'll probably leave a link in this video for you to look them up if you wish, so I won't embarrass myself by trying to pronounce them now. There are 4 or 5 peaks and they run along the flank of a small lake called Llyn Ogwen, and I'm going to climb just up one of the ridges today to the main ridge and just have a wander. I've not really decided exactly where I'm going to go. We'll see what takes our fancy when we get to the top. The weather today is set to be dry and we could get a cloud inversion, so we might get some mist in the valleys that we can look down upon when we get to the top. Although in looking at the weather right now, I don't think we're going to get an inversion today. It was forecast yesterday. Well, behind me is a famous mountain called Tryfan. I'll just put that in view now. Not particularly high, although probably the same height as the highest peak in England, about 3,000 feet, about as high as Scramble. But it has this lovely scramble up this ridge here. I can just point to it down there. That's within the capability of most fit people, and it really is a fabulous day out. If you get the opportunity in the right kind of weather, then do give it a try. So swinging round now, what else have we got in view? That's the peak that we're going up today. You can see it's enveloped in cloud at the moment. So we'll see whether there are any views to be had when I get to the top. Right, well, I'll crack on, and while I do so, let's take a look at the route for today.
The Snowdonia National Park is located in Wales, in the west of Great Britain, and this walk begins in the Ogwen Valley, which lies to the northeast of Wales' highest mountain, Mount Snowdon, or Wyddfa in Welsh. From the car park, on the southern shore of Lake Ogwen, we take the steadily ascending path southwest to the tarn of Llyn Bochlwyd. And then head west to the main ascent on this route, the steep ridge of Gribin, which heads due south, ending in a Grade 1 scramble to the Glyders Ridge, the highest point on this walk. From this vantage point, we gain unparalleled views of the entire national park, and in particular of the looming bulk of Mount Snowdon to the southwest. At the western end of the Glyders Ridge, we descend steeply on a loose underfoot path to the tarn Llyn Ogwen. And then head northeast into the Devil's Kitchen, a famous mountain pass down to our third tarn of the day, Llyn Ogwen. From here we head northeast along an easy, ambling path to Ogwen Cottage, and once again to the shore of Lake Ogwen. The entire walk is around 6 miles in length and ascends around 2,000 feet or so. It takes about 5 to 6 hours to complete.
Well, behind me now is a very famous ascent to the Glyders Ridge called Hell's Kitchen, and it's over there, shrouded in mist. It's a very steep path. I don't know why it's called Hell's Kitchen. Not quite a scramble, but almost. What else have we got here? Well, this is a lovely vantage point. It's not actually on my route. They say all paths lead to Rome. Well, some paths lead to the wrong way home or the wrong way up, and that's just what I've done. I've taken the wrong path, but as it turns out, it's brought me into this lovely setting here overlooking this yet another tarn, and of course Hell's Kitchen, as I've just shown you. Absolutely fantastic quarry or cirque shown there. I might put the drone up and see if we can get some shots. Probably one of the best examples of a glacial head tarn to be found in Snowdonia. So let's get the drone up and see what we can find. Right, back on the right path now, and I'm just going to go up the main ridge ascent for today's walk, which I would have mentioned in the map tour at the beginning of this video. I'm hoping it's not going to be too steep, but this is the major part of the ascent for the day, and then when I get to the top, hopefully I can have a bit of a sit down and some sandwiches, a bit of a rest for an old codger. But the day is, weather-wise, the day is improving all the time. I mean, just look at this. Absolutely fantastic. And it's not in view at the moment, that's why I'm not used to using this camera yet. But over there, there we go, over there on the hills you can see an inversion, you can see some mist rolling down. Very impressive. Apparently, if you volunteer to do some work for the National Trust, you get to have your membership for free. At my age, and with my level of fitness, I'm not sure that's a sufficient incentive, because I think they have special deals for OAPs for the annual subscription, so it's probably not a lot of use for old people. But you occasionally see younger folk helping out, and that's a lovely thing to witness, isn't it? because without a bit of maintenance, a lot of these routes would become increasingly inaccessible. Now, unlike the Lake District, Snowdonia has many peaks that have tops that are exposed by frost shattering over thousands of years to form these rocky shards. And there are many more of these, as we'll see when we get to the top. And they're really only to be found in Snowdonia and are exemplified best here on the Glyders. I'm told there are some on the Snowdon range. Well, I just had to pause here because it's an exquisite spot. There's a view ahead of the summit and of Tryfan in front of me now. And the sun is coming over the top of the ridge. And then the autumn light that you get looks absolutely spectacular. Let me show you. An ever improving view of the valley down to Bethesda. And then over here we've got Tryfan, which is dominant throughout this walk, really. What a spectacular lump of rock. So coming around again to my goal for the day. Let's just hope I can get there. Well, this is one of those moments in a walk where you just hope you're not going to get into a sticky moment. I've just seen what I think is the top, and there is a very steep ridge which I'm hoping the path doesn't take me up. It looks unclimbable. So there it is, popping in and out of the mist. I'm hoping the path either goes to the left or the right of it, because from here it looks like an impossible scramble. Now, when I checked the OS map, nothing as steep as this came up when I looked at the contours, so I hope I've read the map correctly. Onwards then. Tally ho! Well, folks, I've had to have a little bit of a think about this. Glorious as today is, the rocks are so wet and slippery, and I'm on a little bit of a scramble now. And I don't know how far I am from the top. It's proven to be a lot steeper than I had planned. I don't think I've got the right kind of footwear. I just don't have the grip. So I think I'm going to have to abandon this ascent, which is a bit of a shame. So I really don't want to be in a situation where I decide a bit later on, a bit further up from here where I am now, that I can't get to the top because it's too slippery, and then find that my descent is very problematic as well. Because the thing about very steep ascents, scrambles and the like, is that they're often harder to come down than to go up, especially if it's slippery. So I'm going to call it a day and go back down to the tarn, which is a bit of a pity. But the route that I plan to do, most of it from the top I've done before, so when I get back I'll put together a video that includes some footage from the top, so that those of you watching are not denied the opportunity to see what the landscape is like on the top. So it won't be a complete failure, but I think for me, for my own safety, I am after all knocking at the door of 70, well, closer to 70 than 60 now. So I've got to a bit more realistic about what my capabilities are. So I'll have a pause here and then go back down, but it is so steep I'm going to have to go back down forward facing, because it is that steep. I can't walk down in the usual way. Okay, I'll speak more at a more opportune moment. Complete whiteout at the moment. This mist, it comes in banks, swathing the mountains, and then it disappears for a time, and then it comes again. You can see up there we've got some blue sky. Well, I'm well into my descent now, back in the mist. Very disappointing that I couldn't get to the top, but it was the right call. I wasn't getting any grip, and it's not worth having a mountain rescue team come out to rescue an old codger who's tripped and broken a bone. So yeah, it was the right decision, although I'm pretty upset about it. In fact, this is I think in 8 years of being on the fells and walking when I can, I think this is the first time I've been thwarted by something. And it's usually the weather that threatens a walk if it's really inclement. But on this occasion it's my clothing, it's my boots that have let me down. So I don't quite know what to do about that. I don't know if there's some way you can improve the grip on the sole by perhaps sanding the base of the boot. But then I'd have to do that with each walk, create a new surface to give some grip. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to keep these boots for the summer and get something else for the winter. So the route has been abandoned, and much of it will not now appear on the video I'm making today, but as I said earlier, I've got some footage from a walk I did a couple of years ago in February, so a similar time of year. And in fact, I was here in April. So I'll throw in a few of the drone shots from that previous walk, as I said earlier, just so that there's some completion to the route. And I'm waiting here for a bit of clearance in the weather so I can do some more photography. When you're on the ridge, you can look across the Llanberis valley to Snowdon. You get very impressive views of Snowdon, and in winter it can be lit up beautifully by the sun, and you can get clouds rolling up through the Llanberis Pass, and you're actually looking down on the clouds, and it really is the most spectacular sight. In the summer, of course, it's heavily frequented. It's a very popular tourist spot, parking down in the Ogwen Valley and then climbing up one of the very many paths there are up to the top of the Glyders Ridge. So I'm going to find my way down now in the mist back to the tarn, and then I'll have my sandwiches, I think. It looks as though the sun might be trying to peek through. Let's wait and see. Right, so a little bit of a break, affording us a little bit of a view of one of the tarns down there. One of the disappointing things about walking here is that, rugged and remote as it is, and some of the paths up are very challenging, you can hear the road. There's an A road that runs up through the Ogwen Valley, and that is something you can always hear. Right, well, almost back at the car, back down at the tarn, licking my wounds after having to abandon the summit today. I'm actually not too disappointed about that now, because I've just had the drone up And I think the cloud now that's all around extends probably all the way to the top. So if I had gone up there, I don't think we would have got much by way of a view. But walking the fells is about the catharsis and the exercise, isn't it? I've been looking at YouTube recently, and there are lots of people who put videos of their walking escapades online, and they usually say things like they do it for the escape and for the to improve their mental health. I don't think I do this to improve my mental health. I do it because I want to, and because for the time being I can. And there is certainly an emotional catharsis to the whole process, but I don't come here to escape mental health issues or well-being, which is the buzzword these days, isn't it? No, it's just about getting out, enjoying the wide open spaces and having a bit of peace and quiet. Still finding my feet are not gripping the ground at all well. But I've made something of today, and I hope those of you who are watching will get something from it. If not, just the route at the beginning, and of course I always leave the GPX files with the uploaded video, so you can download those and put them into your phone or whatever and go and do the exact same route. A lovely stream coming up here. The water pours out of this tarn down to the bottom of the valley. Wonderful low frequency noise. It's unusual because normally when you get rushing water you get a lot of high frequency sizzle. But this has got like a boom to it. Final look at Tryfan covered in the cloud. And a pano of the rest of the mountains around the tarn, all of which are shrouded in cloud now. So I think the time has come for me to bid you all farewell and to ask you to join me again when I next walk the fells of Great Britain. Goodbye.